All right, so we are live and people will start coming. And you can see that when people start coming. So, sorry for the interruption. So a person. So, what happens is that we wait for a while for people to pop up. And in the meantime, I'm going to share the link as well. And
Can you
Zia
hear
Bhai, I'm
me?
going to send you the link of this live program that is happening now to your WhatsApp. So if you want to give the link to your friends, you can do it after that. I'm sharing another link, not the previous one. Just give me a minute.
And
And
send it to
এখানে- yeah,
I am
I'm just
using my
giving.
mobile. Will there be any problem, Mosi?
No, I can see you and hear you. It's all clear. Good, Anupam.
It's fine,
But
Anupam.
I
We
cannot
can hear you.
hear you properly.
Oh, then
I
remove the
cannot.
remove the headphone. Remove the headphone. Headphone to remove koro. Headphone to remove koro. Now, Zia Bhai, I've given you the link, the last one, the latest one you've got.
Okay,
Just
thank you
share.
so much.
Okay. যারা দেখছেন তাদের জন্য বলি today's live podcast is for people interested in building your career in English language teaching, that is to say TESOL or ELT. At the same time, we are going to talk about the true roles of ESL teachers. ESL teacher বলতে আমরা বুঝাই English as second language teachers. তার মানে it is an English language learning institute. We all are professional English language trainers, but most importantly, we have a very, very special guest today. I will request my guests to keep their mic mute as long as they are not talking. You can have microphone option আছে, but I can also mute you. So আমি for the time being mute করে দিচ্ছি আপনাদের. Okay, right. So I have a very special guest whose name is Khuzaima Fateh Ali Ziauddin. আপনারা স্ক্রিনে দেখতে পাচ্ছেন. And he is an adjunct professor at ULab এবং he has a very distinguished, long and distinguished career in English language teaching. এবং ওনার প্রোফাইলটা আমরা ব্রিফলি বলবো. He is going to introduce himself. তখনই আপনারা আইডিয়া পাবেন যে what kind of a profile he is. But আমি ব্রিফলি একটু এর আগে বলি আমার feelings. I'm not going to talk about his profile, which he is going to do. আমি just বলবো যে জিয়া ভাই is one of the top level professional English language trainers in Bangladesh and one of the highest paid, or maybe the highest paid English language trainer in Bangladesh. And he has had experience in almost all types of fields that relate to ELT, including teaching at ULab, teaching teachers of Scholastica, even in ActionAid. So I've been privileged to be his colleague for some time, back in 2011, 12, and partly 13, I guess. So yeah, Zia bhai, please introduce yourself. Just give me 1 minute. Let me unmute you. I think you unmute yourself. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. This is at the invitation of our host, Wasi, who is the CEO of CLL. That's a CILL. That's a language institute. And I met Wasi when we were studying together, along with Anupam and Iqbal at NSU. We were all working towards our masters in English in TESOL. And as
Right.
you can tell, I was much senior to them even then. And because I did my masters in TESOL at the age of 55. And it was a challenge for me because there were all these fresh minds who had just finished their graduation. And when I first went to NSU, I was a bit nervous because I didn't know what to expect. Because first of all, I'd never studied in Bangladesh. I'd studied abroad all my life, and then I was out of the educational arena for nearly 25 years, or maybe 27 years, because that's when I was working with my father. We had our own family business. So when I came back from the US, my father wanted me to join the family business, and I've always wanted to be a teacher. So, after 27 years, when my father retired, I retired, and then I decided that I needed to kind of study again and see how it felt, and then kind of start teaching. So I thought the best thing, if ever anyone wants to teach English, you have to have a master's in TESOL. Without a degree in TESOL, I don't think you can teach. আমাদের দেশে কি হয়, a lot of teachers who have the masters in literature, English literature, they start teaching language, which is not right, because they don't know, like we are trained, we know that, okay, if this is a problem with this particular person, this is how you solve it. They don't. So what they do is, they just reactively correct your mistakes. They don't tell you why you're making the mistakes. They don't tell you what you should do in order to stop making those mistakes. So actually, if a literature teacher teaches you English, not effective. And another thing is that, as I was telling you, so I went to NSU, and I think it was the best time of my life. I met some wonderful people over there, three of whom you see right now on the screen, and I think we learned from each other. I remember Wasi being an excellent presenter. I remember Anupam being an amazing researcher. And I remember Iqbal being a very intelligent student, and you need this. You need intelligence, you need a good presentation skills, and you need good research skills. These are all soft skills that we have not developed in our country. And it's very sad, because hard skills, though, it's not difficult, like I'll tell you about myself. I'm teaching, I'm an MA, right? I'm an MA in English. And I have designed a course which I teach to my MBA students. That's my baby. I have designed that course myself. Even the speaking and pronunciation course that I teach at Speed and elsewhere has been designed by me. So what has TESOL taught me? TESOL has not only taught me to teach, but it has also helped me understand my students and design a course which is tailor-made. So this is also what TESOL teachers do, that they design courses that are tailor-made, and that really can improve you and improve your English language skills. So
I would like to take a moment in the meantime. For example, like those who are watching, and definitely some of them will be struggling with the technical term TESOL or ELT. So let me just make it clear. TESOL stands for Teaching English to Speakers of Other Language. ELT is quite similar, English language teaching. These are the degrees or studies people do in order to become an English language teacher or trainer. And we are talking about, and we are kind of hearing interesting and useful information from the experts, why TESOL or ELT degrees are important and how you can build your career in that. So as Ziaba is already speaking, I'm going to put one more point to his mouth, and that is, who should do TESOL? Or after you talk about the importance of TESOL, you might want to add who should do TESOL, and if it is a good career, and how or why. Please, Karim.
okay. First of all, what is TESOL? Vasi just explained you a little bit of it. It's but who should do TESOL? Okay, so
Right.
TESOL is an advanced degree it teaches to teach speakers of other languages, speakers whose first language is not English, right? And normally you take this course after you've earned your bachelor's degree, and in a related subject. It should be in maybe in English literature or in education. But you see what happens in our country, that people come into this program from a variety of different kind of backgrounds, which is not right. And that is why, what happens, the universities, when they see that you've come from a different background and you'd like to do your TESOL in English, they give you some extra courses that you have to do, which we don't have to do, because we already have an English background. So what do you have to do? What is the prerequisite in order to get into a master's program in TESOL anywhere? Is that you have to be fluent in English. There has to be a fluency. That is the basic requirement. আমাদের দেশে কিন্তু ওটা হয় না. A lot of people just come with a very bad English background, and they're taken over by some universities because the universities want to, like, there's some commercial universities who will take them. And why will they take them? That you can't even blame the universities for that, because not very many people join the English department to do TESOL, because this consciousness is not there. So how can the university survive or the department survive with just maybe 5 or 6 of us? So what they do is they take others who want to be there, and they produce very few good teachers who can go out, and the others can't do anything. They're just left in a lurch. So you have to understand one thing, that if you want to do your masters in English, you in TESOL, you have to have good English language skills. You have to be fluent in the English language. Okay,
I
and
would like to interrupt for a second. I mean, a second means at least a few seconds. That this is a very important point. That if you are very good in English, only then you should decide on doing TESOL or ELT, be it undergrad or masters. And the second thing, I think that you have to have the determination to become an English language. This is not a degree to become a banker. So Zia Bhai, please continue on this note.
yeah, and see, another the advantage of doing a masters in TESOL is that you erase a lot of competition from your career environment, because there are very few of us, and because there are very few of us, there's a lot of demand for us. And arekta jinish ki ache, that you don't necessarily have to teach. If you have this degree, you can develop teaching materials. That's something you can do. You can also uh, train people in different companies. Then you can be a textbook editor or a newspaper editor, with this degree, which is really good. And and once you get this degree, you'll be qualified to teach English anywhere, right? So this is what TESOL does. That's teaching of English to speakers of other languages. And in fact, there's so much demand that you can pick any university of your choice or any corporation of your choice. I've been teaching since the last 18 years, and I don't have a resume. I have never been for an interview. People have always invited me. Even at ULAB, আমাদের যখন VC ছিলেন Mr. Imran, I tremendously respect him, because he is very far-sighted, and he saw me. He knew that I had done business, and I had the business background, and I had the TESOL degree. And plus, I did my undergrad from Shimer College, which is affiliated to the University of Chicago, and also I did 1 year of 19th century literature from Oxford University in England. So he knew my background. So he kind of recruited me for ULAB, and it was an amazing experience for me. And আজকে তুমি দেখো, this is what something you can only do with an MA degree and TESOL. I teach career planning, which is an MBA course, right? And
Right.
a person who's doing his MA in English can teach career planning, and can teach business English, can teach communication workshop. But a person with an MBA who can teach all those cannot teach English.
All
So you
right.
see, what
Thank
happens
you,
is,
Bhai. We have to move to the next question
okay.
or discussion.
So what's the
In the
next?
meantime, yeah, I'm going to throw that. But before that, let me just add that, for example, even in my institute, which is, already that it is an English language training institute, we have done a lot of business communication programs with top level companies. So TESOL is not confined within the teaching of IELTS or spoken English or basic English. This is the usual concept in Bangladesh, but we go far beyond. Before I ask the next question to Zia, in the meantime, let me just quickly introduce the two other guests with me. I took a time because they are known faces, because Anupam joined my last live as well. He's a friend of mine. So is Iqbal, and Iqbal has done a number of live. But let me still introduce, because they are also quite successful ESL trainers, and they're very good. For example, Iqbal is running his own institute, which is called Iqbal's Learning Lab, and he has also worked for British Council and worked for some organizations. So Iqbal, would you like to introduce yourself in 1 minute? I know it's quite short to introduce you in 1 minute. Iqbal, your mic is mute.
Thank you, Wasif. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
clearly.
Okay. Thank you, Wasif, for giving me the 1 minute floor. খুবই নগণ্য মানুষ 1 মিনিট যথেষ্টই হওয়া উচিত. I'm working in Asian University for Women as a senior lecturer right now. I have worked with British Council. I started my work, as Fazama sir just said, as we were working together as a graduate assistant in North South. I worked in some private universities as well, in development sector and in corporate as well. So right now it's two stream university teaching, at the same time business
Right.
communication
Thank
training
you.
going on.
Now going over to Anupam, who is a lecturer at Dhaka Commerce College, and Dhaka Commerce College is
Yes.
quite a renowned institute in Bangladesh. So yeah, Anupam, would you like to introduce yourself?
I am actually in a different zone rather than you because I am teaching at a Bangla medium college, and my challenge is far. I'm facing more challenge than you face. I think because my environment is not TESOL friendly. So whatever I have learned, I have to force it. I I have to apply it forcefully. That is
Right.
the problem. And otherwise, I taught at Rajshahi Cadet College before. There was also I was teaching English as a subject. So always I tell this: English teaching English as a subject and teaching English as a language. There is a big difference, and we have to acknowledge that first. So,
Okay.
and one thing I want to tell about Ziabai, that is, I call him Bhaya because, and I came to Dhaka back in 2008 to do my MBA to be a banker. But I changed my mind because I thought that after doing my honors from English literature, I should go for teaching. So my instinct told me that no, you do something else. Then I went for TESOL, that is different, and I met Ziabai, and everything changed from that. Here, whatever I am now, everything because of Baya.
Wonderful, wonderful, Anupam. And Anupam also did TESOL, MA TESOL from North South University. So you see, I have gathered these people who have done TESOL because only the experts and the people with that degree, TESOL or ELT, can talk about it. And those people should come forward to talk about English language teaching, not those who come with business degree only, or management degree, and then they start preaching about teaching English and those stuff. I'm not saying they cannot be the teachers, but at least everything should come from those who have had that degree at least, and then talk. Everybody can talk. Okay, going over to Ziabai once again. And my next question, I have to look at my list of topic because I forgot. Yes. Uh, as a professional trainer, I mean, we already know that you have had a distinguished career in TESOL or ELT. What do you think are the main problems with the Bangladeshi learners, or specifically people who come from Bangla medium background? Are there any problems when it comes to learning English? And if yes, what are them and how those can be overcome? Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, they come with a lot of problems. In fact, the first day when I meet them, I'm horrified. There are some of them they tell me they have got this what golden five or something. It doesn't reflect in their English at least, because it's pathetic and it's very sad because. Uh, and the reason they are not the students, they are not at fault at all. It's a faulty system, and where they're expected to memorize everything without understanding, without comprehension. They do not have comprehension skills. They're not confident at all. Even if you give them a simple direction, right, in a midterm or in the finals, that write your section on the upper right hand corner of the sheet. They'll raise the sheet and they'll say ekane ekane. And I say that, okay, so you need to understand that that you have to comprehend. So no comprehension skills. And then see, when you are studying a language or when you're speaking a language, I think, for at least from my experience of 17 years, and from whatever I have learned at NSU and other places in England or America, whatever, pronunciation is the most important thing. Pronunciation, I think, is the face of the English language. It's the first thing people notice about you. And if your pronunciation is not good, you'll make spelling mistakes. You will not have confidence. You will not want to speak in English. You will not enjoy English. And you will think that people are going to make fun of you. And they will, because, they stress on the long syllables. Instead of saying beach, they say bitch. And one of them wrote that I went to Cox's Bazar to see the bitch. So I told him that plenty of bitches in Dhaka. Why did you go all the way to Cox's Bazar? And and, and, and recently, someone was messaging, because now, because of these online classes, we have to have uh, WhatsApp groups. So while I was teaching, I saw that there were two students of mine having a conversation, two ladies, and the MBA students. And one was writing to asking the other that I need to talk to sir urgently. So can I give him a call? So the other one saying that no, you cannot call him. He's teaching class. So he's saying, okay, I'll massage him after class.
All right. So I hope.
No, she didn't massage me. Thank you. But the thing is that see, this is the kind of situations that you put yourself in. And then once someone laughs at you, that's it. Your confidence is gone down. And after that, so what do you need to do? The first thing you need to do is improve your pronunciation. And see, what happens is, আমাদের দেশে we don't have trained teachers. See, আমরা এই যে চারজন আছি, আমাদের pronunciation is good. Why? Because we did TESOL. We know how to correct ourselves, right? When we were studying, maybe some of us didn't have very good pronunciation, but now we know that that this is where you have to correct. And because of the years of experience all of us have had, we already know. Don't you know that when you enter a class, okay, W sounds problem habe, B sounds problem habe, G sounds problem habe, and Z sounds problem habe. I mean, some of the teachers talk like this, that okay, so we'll meet, what platform will we use? Will we use Google Classroom, or we will use Zoom? Now what's Zoom? Right. So see, things like that. So if they hear the teachers speak like that, then you can't blame the students. Right.
Okay, Zia bhai, we have a question. In the meantime, I'm going to ask you more questions regarding pronunciation and accent that comes along, and Iqbal will join in. But before that, we have a question. I think, Mr. Umar Farooq, is there any opportunities to self-teach and get trained via open online resources to become a TESOL trainer or English teacher? Being an MA in English, I feel like I should be pressing myself to be connected with TESOL. So there are lots of online resources. But remember, that is my answer. I think Ziabai will definitely add that if you want to be recognized as a TESOL person or ELT person, you must have a formal degree. For example, TESOL may come along with your MA degree, like MA TESOL, BA TESOL. Even there are some other short programs like diploma or certificate courses like CELTA and Delta. At least do those things to become certified. You need to be certified. You can always self-teach yourself on resources. You can study books and do online, like Teaching Principles. There is a book in TESOL, but there are other resources. Ziabai, would you like to add anything with this, or we move to the next question?
Yeah, like I said, that like what you said, that I agree with that. That you no matter what you do, you can have these online courses, you can self-teach, but you will never learn what you learn formally by going to that particular university. And I think NSU has the most amazing TESOL program. I don't know about it now, but in our times, we had some amazing teachers.
It's the same still, I believe.
Yeah, I think they do. And see, the thing is that অনেক জিনিস শিখতে হয়. You have to learn how to do research. You have to, and all that is only possible. You have to write a thesis. So all that is only possible if you have a face-to-face class, and then you're spending 2.5 years. I spent 3 years doing my masters, right?
Okay.
So that is why I think you need that much time to devote, especially because you're going to be a teacher. You have got a lot of responsibility, more responsibility, I think, than any other profession, because you are going to mold lives. You are going to mold the future of this nation. So there's a big responsibility, and I don't think you should take it lightly by saying, okay, I've got an MA degree, let me go and do some courses on Iqbal, do you agree with me?
Okay.
Absolutely,
I
I
think
do,
Iqbal.
because standing in front of a group of students and just having a picture of that on a book or on a website is not the same experience. Just to give an example in brief. One thing I just wanted to add
Iqbal,
to
in the
the question
meantime,
of,
let me quickly interrupt for
sure.
one sec,
Hmm.
because a guy is asking, my friend Mr. Miyazi, আমি আপনি always live সেই ধরনের question করেন, you can just knock on the page and get the answer. Even আমি আজকেও কিন্তু আমাদের পোস্ট গিয়েছে যে আমরা 12th সেপ্টেম্বর মানে 5 days পরেই আমরা আবার রিওপেন হচ্ছি। আমাদের কিন্তু ইম্পর্টেন্ট নোটিফিকেশন গুলা পোস্টে যায়, অথবা আপনি ইনবক্সে জেনে নিতে পারেন। But yes, we are opening on 12th September. Okay, yes, Iqbal, carry on.
Yeah, just for Mr. Omar Farooq, very briefly, I want you to explore the website futurelearn.com. Not to market the product or something, but this actually provides you a very robust opportunity of self-learning in self-training in terms of becoming a good teacher. Futurelearn.com. Good luck.
Futurelearn.com. Okay. My next question, then this time I'm going to start with Iqbal, then Zia Bhai, then Anupam, and then Zia Bhai.
Okay.
What is your take on the importance of accent as opposed to pronunciation, or how do you compare pronunciation and accent? As Zia Bhai was talking about the importance of pronunciation, how important is accent as well? Like, do we have to speak like the British or Americans?
Let me begin by addressing the issue of accent, which is which is the second concern of all the learners after grammar. Every time they come to learn from us or to get trained, accent is not local anymore. Just like English language is not the intellectual property of England or America or Canada anymore. It has become a global language, and a global language is spoken in every kind of local accent merger all across the world. So right now, it's good to follow a certain accent like British or American to learn, but if you're developing your own natural accent, that is the best thing you can do. However, there is an issue of pronunciation. Language has to do with communication, and if your pronunciation is not good, someone is not being able to understand you, then the purpose fails itself. So it's very important that no matter what accent you're following, even if you have a colloquial local accent, your pronunciation must be close to standard, if not exactly standard pronunciations. That's very important because your communication purpose fails, number one. Number two, as Khuzaima sir just said, it is the first thing people notice when you open your mouth. It's
Right.
very important how you're talking, how you're pronouncing the words you're talking, and how there is a flow from one word to the other in a sentence. Accent doesn't really have to be a British or American one.
Okay, thank you. Going over to Anupam, but I have a slightly different question for you. It may be also related to pronunciation. For example, you are dealing with Bangla medium students, you said, right? Uh,
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it doesn't make me that much of difference because I happen to get people from both Bangla medium and English mediums. But my approach or our institute's approach is different because we are dealing directly with the language. However, as you are dealing with the Bangla medium students, what are the problems you face when it comes to learning English, and also uh, anything regarding pronunciation, accent, English, whatever you feel, the main problems with them?
The first thing I want to address, that is, we teach English mostly as a subject, so they are focused uh, to get marks, to get CGPA, and to just get over it.
Right, right.
Okay, they are not worried about the skills. They they even don't know about the skills, and if we let them know about it, it doesn't matter to them sometimes,
Okay.
because they are for 2 years here, 2 years college life. They are planning to do something else in future. They don't think that English is going to help them a lot in future. That importance they don't realize, and it is our duty to make them realize it. But still, the skills, we don't focus. Actually, we are just concentrating on writing and reading mostly.
Okay.
Not even reading, just writing. They memorize and they write.
And
So
grammar as well. Like,
what?
I think memorizing a lot of grammar rules.
Grammar, mostly grammar. They memorize the rules, and they solve single sentence problems, not contextual grammar.
Okay.
So
So
that is the
now,
main problem
thank
I
you.
face.
Going over
And
to Ziabai
speaking,
and
we don't speak in English also.
All right. So speaking is just overlooked mostly in your
Speaking
curriculum.
is neglected
Okay.
mostly,
Okay.
mostly.
Okay.
Yeah,
So going
but it
forward
should
to
be practiced. We try
okay.
to practice, but students are not focused because they think that for speaking we don't have marks. So why should we learn speaking?
Yeah, everything
And
is
they
looked
feel
at
shy
on
of it.
the basis of a subject.
Yeah,
Zia Bhai,
Yeah, everything is about
they
marks.
they want
They,
benefits,
if you tell them to do
marks.
something, they will not do it. But if you give them marks, they will do it, right? What I
yeah,
tell my students is you have to understand one thing, that at the end of the day, everyone's going to get their MBA degree. Everyone, right? A person with a 2.65 CGPA, a person with a 4 out of 4 CGPA, everyone's going to get that degree. After some time, no one cares about what you got, right? What CGPA? I don't think any one of you, do you remember what CGPA you got in at NSU? I don't think so. I remember, but I remember for a different reason. But whatever.
Because
yeah,
you got
you
four
got
out of
4 out
four.
of 4. That's why you
Yeah,
remember.
because I
Yes.
got 4 out of 4. So that is
Yeah,
why I remember. But if
and
you
I
ask
got
me,
3.9, which is not bad as well. Anyway, sorry to
of
interrupt.
course, it's not bad. I think all of you are amazing. I think we need to give a applause to each and every one of us. Getting a 3.9 or 3.8 or anything from English department in NSU is amazing. You have to be. I remember, Anupameর সাথে তো আমার অনেক close relationship ছিল আর আছে. So I know him very well. But the two of you, I used to see you in class, and I used to really admire the way, especially I remember the way you used to do the presentations. I think I learned certain things from you, Vasi. Like the way you did your presentations. Like I remember, I don't know if you remember in Malika Sarva's class, I remember Iqbal from there, and him answering so intelligently to the questions that she would ask, and she was a tough cookie,
Alhamdulillah.
right? So that is a self, mutual admiration that we have for each other, and no one will understand that until unless they've gone through the process we have, right? Then only we know how difficult it is, right? Uh, but coming back to your answer, to your question, I'd like just a short answer, and that, see, what is an accent? An accent is just a prominence of syllables, right? That's what it is. The loudness of pitch doesn't really matter. How loud is your pitch, whether it's an American accent or a British accent or a Bangladeshi accent. I think Bangladeshi accents are beautiful. I think you should keep your accents. What you have to worry about is the pronunciation. Because what is pronunciation? Pronunciation is the result of producing those sounds. And if you're producing the wrong sounds, then you will come out with incomprehensible pronunciation. And incomprehensible pronunciation leads to spelling mistakes and miscommunication. So that is why pronunciation is very important. You need to do. I really need to like for example, what difference does it make? So for example, American medicine. Okay, the British say medicine, and the Americans say medicine, and the British say medicine. But we still understand. They are just dropping the I, but we still
Like
understand. There's no
like
miscommunication.
like vegetable and vegetable, like
Yeah,
just a little of
like
pressure.
restaurant and restaurant, like
Right.
we say restaurant, right? Yes, বাদ দিয়ে দিই মাঝখান থেকে. But some people say restaurant, but that's fine. There's no miscommunication. Like literature and literature, So there's so many American, and you should use the accent that you are comfortable with. But pronunciation, not allowed. Pronunciation, you have to have the same pronunciation so that there's no miscommunication.
All right. So my next question is that people, we have already seen that the people do TESOL or ELT, and then they decide to become a banker. Then why in the first place they did TESOL or ELT? And at the same time, many people doing TESOL or ELT are moving towards other disciplines like banking, blah blah blah. Whereas people from different backgrounds like management, BBA, MBA are pouring into this field of ELT or TESOL, and they're also setting up institutes and declaring that they're the experts, and they are promising. And that is the reason I think that they're promising people of becoming experts in English overnight or this and that or that guarantee. What is your take on that, Rahima Bhai, Zia Bhai? This problematic issue happening in Bangladesh.
Okay, first of all, it's remuneration. I think when people, because you have to understand one thing, that it's a struggle. When we finish our degree, I mean, we complete our post graduation, and then when we are in the market for a job, it's kind of difficult for us, because initially, because it's not that easy. Anupam will tell you that he was having this
Yeah,
second
I
thought,
struggled a
because
lot.
because some of his friends, decided that they cannot wait for this long to be successful. So, and they started working in banks, and Anupam wanted to do the same thing, but I stopped him from doing that. And I think today he's very, I think, happy that I was able to convince him, because the thing is that initially it might have been a problem, which it is. But see, if you're very passionate about what you do, because I think all four of us are very passionate about what we do, right? For us, teaching is not a profession. Teaching is a passion, right? We teach very
Right.
passionately, right? And that is why we waited. We were not in a hurry. But people in a hurry, they want to come out because they have maybe social pressures, maybe they have family pressures, that you need to go out and make money. Maybe we were lucky, maybe we didn't have that, maybe some of us did, but we still believed in ourselves and believed in our passion. And so today we are where we are, all mashallah, all four of us very successful and very happy in our lives. And I think the satisfaction is that আমরা এত hard work করেছি, আমরা এত time invest করেছি, we did a lot of things, right? We sacrificed a lot of things, and today we are able to help our country progress.
Right.
Because if without, because see, in our country there's no dearth of intelligence. Like my friend, she's the country director of Action Aid, Farah Kabir. She was telling me the other day that there are a lot of jobs available, but the skills for those jobs are not there, right? It's not as if আমাদের দেশে কাজ নাই, অনেক কাজ আছে, কিন্তু skills নাই. People don't have communication skills, people do not have soft skills, they don't know anything about time management, they don't know anything about see, they have not added value to their degree. Like all four of us, we have added value to our degree. We got a degree from NSU, which is a branded university, fine, but that's it. তারপরে যে আজকে আমরা যে কাজ করছি is nothing to do with NSU anymore, because what we have done is we have added value to our degree. We have done more than it's expected of us. That is why today I can say that I don't have a resume, I have never been for an interview. And the funny part is, and ironically, I'm teaching career planning, where I teach them how to sit for an interview and how to write a resume. So, just think about it. So what TESOL does to you, if you believe in yourself and if you're passionate about it, like all four of us are, you're very successful. I think all four of us are very successful in our own way, And I'm not saying successful in the sense financially. That also we are, but mostly successful in being able to reach our goals. Being able
And
to.
also students love, students affection.
Today is my birthday, by the way. Today is my birthday, and
Really happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday! I didn't know about that.
and today,
Many happy
and
returns.
since morning 8 o'clock till now, my students have been calling me to wish me. I don't know how they know my birthday. They've been calling me. I've got a whole ton of gifts lying around. I don't know who's given me what, but this is the love and affection. And jaro ami ekta class যখন শেষ করি, তখন they come and touch my feet, and I just I'm just blessed, and this is thanks to TESOL and thanks to some of the fantastic teachers. I always do this in each and every of my class, and I think I must mention this one is Yasmin Murshid. She's the founder of Scholastica. I owe Mrs. Murshid a lot. She taught me the love of English, right? And then my second teacher was a professor at Shimer College. He was Dr. Frank Kurtz. He taught me a lot of things. And finally, Mrs. Malvika Sarwar from NSU. Without her, I don't think I would be the teacher I am today. So I always dedicate anything that I do. This is the first time I'm doing this on Facebook, and I always dedicate anything I do for the first time, whether it's my teaching or my class, to these three fantastic people, who I think, and see, this is another thing, that teachers actually change your lives. These people have changed my life.
But
Thank you.
my life has been changed by my classmate. That is you. whom I found at NSU.
Zia bhai is
Just
really inspiring.
Anupam,
I would like to,
don't believe him. He's just
yeah,
biased.
I would like
That's
to
why I'm
quickly
here
sum
today.
up. I would like to quickly sum up the latest discussions delivered by Zia Bhai. That he said, if you don't have passion, then try other disciplines. If you're only up to money, yeah, some people definitely need money because they are not in a good financial condition. Then you go for that. And if you have passion, then you have to also have the patience. I think that you have to wait for the
Yeah.
right goal to be achieved. Even if I talk about myself, I've been successfully running this institute, but whatever people see now, like these live programs and beautiful furnished office and different sessions and those things, a lot of difficult stories come along in the background that people don't know. I even worked from home while I was conducting corporate training, like business communication for Square Pharma, Textiles, Trust Bank, the big shots. But I was working from home. They didn't know. They thought I definitely had an office that time. And then over time, I used to have small offices. Even I started taking classes in my home as well, sometimes due to financial issues. And then, I had to be quite patient because it took a long time, like 3-4 years, to get settled. And now it's okay, alhamdulillah, it's at least established, and we are growing faster and faster over time. That is my achievement. But yeah, as Ziabai said, TESOL helped a lot, and also we are privileged because we got the degree from NSU, because we got wonderful teachers there. And alongside that, for me, speed also played a very important role. So I would like to, I never mentioned this in public so far, but I would like to say that I'm very grateful to Speed, the organization I work with. This is a training center of Scholastica. I was working there as a deputy manager as well as an English language trainer. So I got the best exposure as a professional trainer in Speed, and I got the grooming. Thank you. Thank you, Speed. Now going to Iqbal.
Iqbal bhai,
from
thank you.
our-
I just
Yeah.
wanted to add something before you
Can
go
I,
to the next point.
okay,
Yes,
before you,
Ziabai?
can I just add something to what
Yeah, yeah.
he said? Uh,
Please.
I started my career with Speed. They gave me a module to teach, and that was Madhya. She had this 100% faith in me, because I think, and Mrs. Mush is the one. It's very ironic that Mrs. Mush is the one who gave me the love of English, and Madhya was the one who gave me my first break. And I never looked back after that. It was just amazing, the whole journey. And see, today I've been training teachers at Scholastica. Both my daughters have studied in Scholastica, and today I'm training teachers who have taught them. You know, and it is such an honor because they come running and they show me the yearbook and things like that. And today. I'm teaching the supervisors over there. So yeah, again, like Wasi, I also owe a lot to Speed. I think Speed has been there for me for the past 17 years, and I think they're just amazing people to work with. And I think they are, uh, again, not as commercial as a lot of other language institutes. They've trained their own teachers, through Speed. So that tells you that that they believe in quality because they're training their own people through their own organization or institution, right? So yeah, thanks to Speed, and of course ULab. I'll never forget ULab. ULab is my family, and I just love working with it. There's some amazing people over there, and I respect them a lot because I will never work anywhere where I don't respect people. If I don't respect someone, I will
That's
not
not
work
true.
over there. And that is why these are just amazing people, and it should be like that in academics. It should be like that. You should respect your colleagues, and you should respect your like I have my like the utmost respect for Mr. Imran Rahman, who is now the advisor to the board of trustees, and also the dean of the business school. And he is just an amazing person, and I owe my career to him and to Speed. So
All right.
yeah.
So thank
Okay.
you. I'm going to ask one question first to Iqbal and then to others, like relevant to the previous discussion as well. Like as I was saying, people nowadays না এটা খুবই একটা ট্রেডিশনাল ব্যাপার বাংলাদেশে যে people from other disciplines are leaving the ELT field, I mean, as far as the business is concerned, it's not bad, it's fine. But my question to all of you is, are they eligible to preach or teach the methodologies or the nature of learning English? I mean, to what extent they're eligible to say or teach the nature or the methodology of learning English? I hope my question is clear,
You
Iqbal.
mean how far they're able to apply those, right?
And also how far they're credible and eligible to,
Okay.
talk about the approach to learning English. I'm not, they can teach English, fine. There might be some good teachers as well, but teaching English and talking about how to teach English, or there's a slight difference. So yeah, please.
Mhm. Okay, let me address it in a slightly different way. See, in any discipline or any profession, there are two kind of people. One, trained and qualified. The other, naturals. There are some natural teachers. If you even go back to your school years, you will find that. I remember this one person, Wazibullah sir. He's the one who paved my entire way of understanding English. He had no training in ELT whatsoever. But the point is, these are very rarely found people.
Absolutely.
Teaching English has become a kind of a business, and that's why people coming from business background dominated most nowadays. But
Absolutely.
the question that remains is, what are the students who are going with to their institutions with so much faith to develop their English language skills? What are they receiving finally at the end of a 4 month or 6 months course? That is where actually the impact matters, and that is where there's so much of frustration among our students. Now, point is, eligibility or qualification, that's the very reason why we are having this session here right now, correct? Why we need something like a TESOL or an ELT background to teach English language.
Yes.
So everything has a technical superiority. Anyone, just to give an example, if you ask a blacksmith to do something about, come to your home and fix something in your newly constructed building, there's no guarantee that he won't be able to do it. But the question is he the right person to call on for this? And whatever you are receiving, are you receiving the technically superior service you need? Now, I'm talking in business language because people see English learning and teaching as a business form now. Now, without having the eligibility or without having the qualification, you might come across natural people like Osama Ziauddin said. I would be blessed if he were my teacher. Unfortunately, I wasn't his direct student. But that's again very rarely found. Without qualification, you will not know the technical know-how. You will not know how to implement. There are two things in TESOL or forget TESOL. Even non-academically, if you're teaching a language, there are two parts coming in. One, are you a technically expert person to teach it? Two, or do you understand the perception of the students and you know how to manipulate them to show that you are a great trainer? What is happening more in the market right now? Because as Zia sir just said, Ziauddin sir said, that there is no dearth of intelligence, but there is huge dearth of quality in our market. And the reason is people do not understand what is quality, and naturally for that reason they do not look for quality. Whatever the friend is doing, he's just following. That friend joined here, so I'll join here too. It's more of a social mechanism than a targeted, well-planned self-development step. So these are the dominating things that's prevailing in the market. On top of that, we have the natural, I wouldn't say national, but it's a global tendency of having short-term goals, as Anupam said, as Zia sir said. If you think about something short-term, such as what is the most popular one, IELTS exam. If you're giving IELTS exam and you are thinking that, okay, it's a 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 2 months, 3 months preparation, I get 7.5, I'm done with it. You're not done with it. You simply received the score. Now you are actually launching into the real communication context. You might come across in a country, you might be in a country where you cannot even ask which direction I should go without knowing, without being a good user of the language. But our short-term goal shows that it's the score, 7.5, the band score, that matters, and not the real expertise. And there has been instances, in fact, of people sent back because they are not good enough to communicate in a real context in that country, and they have led to blunders. There are actual cases like that. So when you have points like this, when you have challenges like this in a market, naturally manipulating the short-term visions and goals of the learner is a very easy thing in a market like this. But if you really want to, if the learners, I would say not the trainers, I would rather address the learners who are joining different places. If you really want to learn something, look for the right people. And the first sign of that is if they're qualified to teach that particular trait. If they're
Absolutely.
not, you're not at the right place. Simple and
Thank you.
practical fact.
Thank you. Before I move on to Anupam, let me
Yeah.
just add one or two lines because I see these things online. Jay, somebody is trying to tell you that, come over and learn pronunciation from me. That person is a kid. Or there is another person who is also telling the same thing. I'm going to teach you phonetics, those things, but their pronunciation or speech delivery right there is faulty. But of course, the general people don't really understand what is happening there. But they never mention any kind of profile or their degrees or their experiences in the caption. You don't see that. I mean, that's quite rare. We do always, like my profile, whatever. If there is any other trainer, we try to add that profile because it is important. But if the learners, if they don't feel like it, why would they do it? Like কেউ কিন্তু প্রোফাইল দেখতে চায় না। আমি একটা ভিডিও দেখলাম, তার কথা একটু উচ্চারণ বা আমার মনে হচ্ছে ভালো, but that's it. I go and just or call them and then try to join. Anyways,
এটাই হচ্ছে।
Anupam, what is your take on that, please?
না, ইংলিশটা আসলে এখন একটা কি বলবো, ইটস এ নেসেসিটি, সো পিপল নিড ইট, সো দে জাম্প ওভার whatever the way they are not worried. They think that if they pay and they are going to learn it. So paying is not everything. They have to choose the right person. If they
Absolutely.
don't choose the right person or right institution, they cannot get it. It is not possible actually. So I think the direction is not in the right way. So we have to we have to show them the right way, and this is the duty of ours. We have to do that. We, the trainers, or we, what, like people like you, people like Iqbal Bhai, who are running their own institutions, they can do it. In my institution, I can just inspire them because I
Yeah.
cannot force them to do something else beyond the text. I can just inspire them. I can tell them do it, read at home, practice reading, practice listening and writing also, whatever. But I cannot force them actually that you have to speak in
Right.
English because sometimes they might get offended also. But it's my duty to make them inspired. But it is you who can inspire people and who can show the right way. And one thing you told that people without English background or without proper degrees, they are teaching English. That is the big problem. They may know some English, their English may be good, but they don't know actually how to teach properly, the right way. That is the main problem.
Right.
Sometimes there are some exceptions, but not all of them.
Right. So এখানে আমি
If
একটা important message দেই before yeah, Iqbal, you will get the floor.
please,
Some people might get a wrong message from us. Jay, we are saying that everybody coming from a different discipline is rubbish. এটা তো না। মানে there are
No,
some good people,
there are
exceptional
good
people.
people.
As you said,
Yeah.
Anupam said, other people said, there are some exceptional people. But when it comes to prescribing the nature of learning English, creating materials, books, or as I said, the methodology or methods of teaching English, it should be handled by those who have the true degree as well, alongside experience as well. Karon not everyone with a TESOL or ELT degree is eligible to do that as well. ওইটা মাথায় রাখতে হবে, as Zia Bhai said, some people
Yes.
lack English language skill properly. That is the reason they cannot flourish in the career as well. Zia Bhai, just add your points on this.
Okay. Yes, see, first of all, I think that, when you're talking about people, if their English is not good, how do they know that this particular teacher is good? Because they have no way, no means, no standard to judge them, right? So what you have to do is you have to do a lot of research and you have to go by word of mouth, because that's the best ad. People will tell you that, okay, go to this class, this teacher is good. Remember in a university, we would think, okay, কোন টিচারটা ভালো, কার কাছ থেকে কোর্স নেওয়া যায়. So we would go to people who had experienced that teacher before us, and we would talk to them, and so the research is very important, right? Before you decide who you want to go to or which language institute you want to go to. So the research is very important. And another thing I think that, the teacher, when it comes to the teacher, like my classes are a lot of fun. I make sure that they're enjoyable. We laugh all the time. I have a great time with my students. 3 ghanta kothay chole jay, we don't know. But at the end of the day, we have learned a lot. And the thing is that if you don't enjoy your education, you're not going to learn anything. So I think we all have learned that. I think all of your classes must be fun, because I know Anupam's class. Anupam is very popular with his students, so his classes must be a lot of fun. I am very popular with my students, so I'm like, I know Wasi is doing very well. And you are doing very well, Iqbal. So I'm sure your classes are fun. And এটা আমি আমেরিকায় শিখেছি, that two things I learned from them. One is that if you're teaching, make sure your classes are fun, because you need to gain their attention. And number two, get yourself a hobby and make it pay. That's the best profession you'll have. So my hobby is teaching, and I'm very passionate about it. And that's what I kept in mind. When I came back, this is what I kept in mind, that my hobby is teaching, and I want to be a teacher. So I promised my father that I would look after his business for so many years, which I did. And the day he retired, I retired. In fact, I retired 2 days before he did. And then, I joined NSU, and that's where my life changed. I met wonderful people like you. And আমাদের একটা এটার মধ্যে কি হয়, that see, we respect each other, irrespective of our age or our backgrounds or whatever. We respect each other. Today I'm here because I have a tremendous respect for Wasi. I think I think he. I've been born with a golden spoon in my mouth, so I never had to struggle in my life, right? But I saw him struggle. I was there when he kind of began his institution, and I know what he went through, And but he stuck to what he believed in, and today he's reaping the benefits. And so many people are benefiting from his teaching. The same thing with Anupam. Anupam, of course, teaches in a different environment, but I have met some of his students, and they're just amazing people. And I think he's also doing an excellent job. Iqbal, I don't know much about your institution, so I don't know, but I've heard some wonderful things about you. And I used to see you in class. You are always, I think, the most serious out of all 4 of us. Right? Yeah. You never used to stay back.
I have recently learned to smile. Very recently.
Give me some credit, Iqbal, as well, because through discussions you started smiling as well. Anyway, Zia bhai, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Can I
Iqbal,
add 2 points?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll try to be brief, contrary to my habit. Number one, let me start with Anupam's point here. See, in our country, the way learning English or developing English language skill is introduced to students from a very primary level as one of the toughest things in the world. What happens is, in public perception, this kind of view actually makes this thing an object of worship in a way. So what happens is, think of, you go to any mosque or shrine, what happens? The khadams become the most important people, and you kind of start worshipping them behaviorally as well. You don't realize it. So our students must understand something, and I'm addressing, I think we have 41 viewers right now. I want to address all of them, each of them, and say that you have right to ask questions. You have right to verify at the beginning, in the first meeting with a teacher or a trainer, how far he is actually the right person for you. So if you are sitting there, জবুতবু হয়ে বসলাম, কিছু বলবো না, কি মনে করে ফেলবে, এত জ্ঞানী মানুষ, কেউ এত জ্ঞানী না that you cannot ask a question. If you're going somewhere with expectations, first of all, if he is or she is the right person, he or she will ask you your expectations. She or he will show you the method by which they are actually addressing your needs. যদি এমন কেউ না হয়ে থাকে, ওই তাকে ভগবান বানিয়ে তার সামনে বসে থাকবো, আমি প্রশ্ন করবো না, চিন্তা করার কোনো রিজন নেই। এভরিওয়ান ইজ হিউম্যান বিং। মায়ের পেট থেকে আপনার মতোই পয়দা হয়ে এসেছেন, আকাশ থেকে পড়ে আসেননি ইংলিশ এক্সপার্ট হয়ে। So you have right to ask questions and verify people. And Jose Masa যেটা বললেন, that is the best practice, words of mouth. কারণ এটা এক্সপেরিয়েন্স থেকে আসে। কেউ একজন একটা ক্লাসে বসে এক্সপেরিয়েন্স করে আসছে, ইটস এ গুড ক্লাস, দ্যাট ইজ ওয়াই হি অর শি উড সে ইট। এর চেয়ে বেশি ইনডেপথ ভেরিফিকেশন যে একটা টিচার ভালো না খারাপ পাওয়া যায় না, কিন্তু ইটস প্র্যাকটিক্যালি ইম্পসিবল। Number two, and this relates about how we TESOL graduates can be interdisciplinary. So I'm going a bit back to the central topic here. See, ওই যে একটা কথা বলেছিলাম, short term perception always leads you to think in a very narrow way. That is why anyone who is having a TESOL certification with the idea of teaching thinks he is restricted to teaching only. What happens is we need to understand TESOL is such a training. I don't call it a course, I call it a training. TESOL is such a training which equips you completely with a host of transferable skills. It equips you with a robust set of problem-solving skills. People management skill is something we apply even as students inside the classroom, as Khozama sir is saying again and again. Again, crisis situations and crisis communication is one of the most important parts of what we learn as a TESOL graduate, and that brings in human behavior observation. If you think about these 5 type of skills and think about any discipline or profession, these are a host of skills which are absolutely necessary in any kind of discipline. So if you're a TESOL graduate, there's no need to think that I've opted for a TESOL MA course, I have to be restricted to teaching only. There are a lot of things you can do, and that's exactly what is happening. We have, as Wasi said, instances of completing TESOL and joining a bank. How? He's not coming from an academic bank related background, right? How is he doing that? That's not an ideal thing to do. In fact, that shouldn't be done, but it's possible. That shows how your skills of TESOL, you're transferring it to another completely different discipline and disciplined background profession. So we really need to think long term. We really need to explore the prospects we have, and right now it's not local anymore, it's completely global. So sit in front of your laptop, click, and find out the world is inside that screen.
Right. Anupam, would you like to add for some
English
final...
is now is all about empowerment. You have to, if you know it, then you can empower yourself, and you can go into the competition and participate there and prove yourself. That is the main thing. I mean, if anyone wants to be a teacher, he or she needs to be trained. So where does he or she get the training? That one should
I'd like
go
to
for
Anupam,
TESOL or
sorry.
ELT
I'd like to add
or
something over.
CELTA, whatever.
Sorry, did I
Yes,
butt in?
No,
No,
that's fine.
it's okay, man. You can tell. Okay.
I just wanted to add something over there, that when you say someone wants to be a teacher, this is all that they need to do. But what is very important, especially it happened in my life, and that was the support of my family. Without their support, I don't think I would have been able to do my masters
Very
in
important.
TESOL. And support of friends like Farah. I owe my degree actually to my friend. She's the one who forced me to go to NSU, because I was feeling very insecure. Because at the age of 55, to go over there, because when I used to enter a class, all the students at NSU would leave the classroom thinking I'm the teacher.
We first thought you were a teacher.
Right.
With a great book of a
I was
professor.
very insecure, but because some of my friends like Farah and Nashid and Rifat, these are the people, but more Farah than anyone else, she believed in me, and because of that, I think I made it. Because there were times where I was thinking that what am I doing? I'm 55. What am I doing over here? But like I said, teaching for me is a passion. So that is why. So this is why another thing I would say, that students, parents or friends, who have friends or children wanting to do the masters in TESOL, please support them. We need teachers. We need good teachers in this country. We don't have very many of them. And we need quality teachers. And quality teachers who can teach you English, they have to have a master's in TESOL. Not a certificate, not these 3-month courses and 2-month courses. That's an insult, I think, to TESOL, right? Because it's a complete package. You have to do it for 2 years, and those 2 years, you have to support them. And once they come out of the university, don't expect them to go around the next day and getting a job and making money. And, it's not going to be like that, right? like I will tell you something. An MBA starts off with a salary of 50 to 20,000, right? We start off with a salary of 30 to 40,000. We start off once we get in, and then we end up making definitely more money than an MBA because because we are in demand, right? How many MBAs? Each university churns out maybe 100, 200 MBAs. NSU even more, like 500 MBAs. I don't know, but how many TESOL students come out each year? Quality TESOL students. I'm just not talking about TESOL students. Yeah, there are people who will come out, but they're not quality TESOL students. They are not someone you would want your children to be taught by, right? But এই এক বছরের মধ্যে মেবি আমাদের সারা দেশ থেকে মেবি 10 থেকে 12 টিচার টিচার্স কাম আউট,
Quality, if we consider the
right?
quality.
So that is what I'm saying, that please, anyone who is wanting to study English, encourage them. Anyone who wants to do their TESOL, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a difficult 2.5 or 3 years. Support them. They need your support. And if you have wonderful friends like I do, and then wonderful colleagues, remember what fun we had at
Yeah.
NSU. We really
There's the
enjoyed.
golden days.
Those were the golden days. I studied at Oxford. I studied in the US, but the best years of my life were at it was in what should I say?
NSU.
And today, I think I'm blessed because I found a niche. I found a place where I'm respected, where they value me for what I am, and that's ULAB. And it's just been an amazing experience. God has been very kind to me.
Okay.
Well, I
Thank
must
you,
mention
Subai.
something how we have been friends and colleagues, but you have been a complete inspiration, starting at the age of 55 and becoming who you are today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I hope I'm an inspiration to a lot of people who think that they cannot do it. If you set your mind to something and if you're
You do.
good at it, it's just not that English শিখতে চাই. No. You come with motivation. You come, you want it so badly that you can almost taste it, right? That's when you will be good at English, right?
Right.
Thank you.
You
Thank you, Zia.
ended up with 4 out of 4 also. That
Yeah,
was
which I
impossible
actually
that
did not
time.
expect. I
You
did
made
not.
it.
And I didn't expect. Only when I was defending my thesis, that's when I told Malika Sarwar, "Ma'am, please don't spoil it for me. Don't give me an A-. I want my."
All right. I think this has been an amazing night because of this lively live program. Let me just finish saying a few things. For example, like SIL is an institute which has, since the beginning, talked about the importance of such things that we have discussed today. This is not the first time we've been doing, but it is the first time that we have had a quite a prominent professor and English language trainer of Bangladesh, who is Zia Bhai, and I'm lucky to call him Bhai because he has been my classmate as well and kind of friend. So yeah, it's been a great journey. আর আরেকটা ব্যাপার যে those who are watching now, do not fall prey to temptation of something that is totally illogical, immoral, and out of the world. For example, the promise of making you an expert in a few days or months, giving you a promise of
Short
guarantee of
course.
scores in this day, in those days. I mean, if you see that somebody is talking about learner needs, their diagnosis of their level, then improvement of language level by level, taking time, and they're also talking about your effort as learners, that is quite important to be successful. It's not only the courses and classes, and then you can decide. You will feel that that person, though those people are talking sense. So we want to talk sense on behalf of SIL, and those people with me today from different institutions, they're also talking sense because they know what to say, because they have the right degree and experience. So I hope all of you have enjoyed watching it. So let's say goodbye to our audience guests. Zia bhai.
We're done.
Thank you so much for watching in time.
Thank you, Iqbal Bhai. Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you,
Well,
Wasi.
Most welcome.
Thank you, Anupam, Basi.
Making me a part of it.
Yeah, thank you for including me, and I think it was a very constructive session. I think for everyone. I learned a lot. I got a lot of feedback from all three of you, which was good. I think it is always good to discuss and to kind of have this kind of online kind of get together, so that we can help not only ourselves but also our students and fellow citizens.
Thank you. So I'm
Thank you,
finishing
sir.
this here.
Yeah. Thank you. Good evening, all
Thank
of
you.
you.